The Valkith Empire stretched across 17 star systems, a civilization so ancient that human historians couldn't agree on when it had begun. Their technology bordered on the mystical. Their ships moved through space like living creatures, and their emperor, being of pure, crystalline intelligence, ruled from a throne that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. And yet, on this particular morning, the fate of galactic diplomacy hung on a single misplaced helmet. Charlotte pressed her forehead against the cool metal of the embassy's corridor wall and tried not to scream. She'd been assigned to the Valkith homeworld for exactly 47 hours. And already everything was going catastrophically wrong. "Tell me again," Daniel said from beside her, his voice carefully controlled. "How you lost your ceremonial helmet." "I didn't lose it," Charlotte hissed. "I took it off for 5 minutes to adjust my hair before the Imperial presentation." 5 minutes, Daniel. When I turned around, it was gone. The helmet in question wasn't just any piece of equipment. It was a specially commissioned piece, adorned with humanity's insignia, embedded with translation circuits, and most importantly, it was required dress code for the ceremony that would begin in less than an hour. The ceremony where they would formally present humanity's petition for inclusion in the Galactic Council. The ceremony that had taken 3 years of negotiations to arrange. No helmet meant no ceremony. No ceremony meant no council seat. No council seat meant humanity remained isolated, vulnerable, and irrelevant on the galactic stage. "Security footage?" Daniel asked, already pulling up his datapad. "The cameras in the diplomatic quarters have a blind spot near my room. Privacy protocols." Charlotte wanted to punch something. Of all the luck, a chittering sound echoed down the hallway, followed by what could only be described as a triumphant squeak. Both humans froze. "Did you hear that?" Charlotte whispered. Daniel was already moving, following the sound with the careful precision of someone who'd done security work on 3 different colony worlds. Charlotte followed her dress uniform, boots silent on the crystalline floor. The sound led them to one of the embassy's observation decks, a sprawling chamber with transparent walls that looked out over the Valkith capital city. The architecture was breathtaking spires of living crystal that sang in harmonic frequencies, bridges of solidified light connecting impossible heights. But Charlotte wasn't looking at the view. In the center of the room, her helmet sat upright on the floor, and inside it, curled up like a cat in a box, was a Valkith hatchling. "Oh no," Daniel breathed. "Oh no. No." Charlotte understood his panic. Hatchlings were sacred in Valkith culture. They were rare, precious, and untouchable. The punishment for harming one even accidentally was immediate exile from all Valkith territories, which, given that the Valkith controlled the only stable wormhole routes through this quadrant, effectively meant banishment from civilized space. The hatchling chittered again, a sound of pure contentment. It was about the size of a house cat, its crystalline body refracting light into rainbow patterns. 2 large eyes, far too intelligent for something so young, blinked up at them with obvious delight. "It thinks it's a fort," Charlotte said slowly. "My helmet, it thinks it's a fortress or a nest, and we need that helmet in 43 minutes. Daniel finished. They stared at each other. The same thought was clearly running through both their minds. If they tried to take the helmet, and the hatchling got upset, they could start an interstellar incident. If they didn't get the helmet, the ceremony was off, and humanity's petition would be denied. "Okay," Charlotte said, kneeling slowly. "Okay. We're trained diplomats. We can handle this." "You're a trained diplomat," Daniel corrected. "I'm security." "Then secure us that helmet." Charlotte approached the hatchling the way she might approach a nervous animal. Slow movements, soft voice, non-threatening posture. The hatchling watched her with those impossibly large eyes, chittering curiously. "Hello there," Charlotte cooed. "That's a very nice fortress you've found. Very comfortable, I imagine." The hatchling chirped proudly and burrowed deeper into the helmet. Daniel crouched beside her. "Maybe we could offer it something else. Something better." Charlotte looked around desperately. The observation deck was mostly empty, except for some decorative crystals and viewing benches. Nothing that would appeal to a baby alien who'd already found the perfect hiding spot. Then she noticed something. The way the hatchling kept turning its head, tracking the light refracting through the helmet's polished surface. It wasn't just using the helmet as a nest, it was fascinated by how the light played across the interior. "Daniel," she said quietly, "your badge." The security one with the holographic display. Understanding dawned in his eyes. He unclipped the badge from his belt and activated it. Immediately, a complex holographic pattern bloomed in the air above its security clearance data rendered in shifting geometric forms. The hatchling's head snapped toward it, eyes widening. Charlotte held her breath as Daniel slowly waved the badge, making the holograms dance. The hatchling chittered with excitement, its attention completely captured. "Now," Charlotte whispered. She reached forward carefully and grasped the helmet. The hatchling was so engrossed in the light show that it barely noticed as she gently lifted it. She pulled the helmet toward her, inch by agonizing inch. The hatchling tumbled out onto the floor with an indignant squeak. For a horrible moment, Charlotte thought it would start wailing, would alert its parents, would doom them all. Instead, the little creature scampered directly toward Daniel's badge, chittering with delight. It batted at the holograms with its tiny crystalline paws. Daniel looked at Charlotte with wide eyes. "I think it likes my badge more than your helmet." "Then it has excellent taste," Charlotte said, checking the helmet frantically for damage. Miraculously, it was unharmed. "We should probably find the hatchling before it gets us all killed," a new voice said. They turned to find a Valkith elder standing in the doorway, its crystalline form towering over them. Charlotte's heart sank. But the elder was looking at the hatchling with what could only be described as parental exasperation. It chittered something, and the baby responded with a defiant squeak, still batting at Daniel's badge. "The third spawn of the Emperor," the elder said in perfect standard English. "It has made a habit of ... exploring. We have been searching for an hour." Charlotte and Daniel exchanged glances. The Emperor's own offspring, of course. "It seemed to like this," Charlotte said carefully, gesturing to her helmet. "We didn't want to disturb it." But you have your ceremony," the elder interrupted. To their shock, its crystalline face seemed to form something approximating a smile. "Humans, you treat our young with gentleness, even when inconvenient. This is noted." The elder scooped up the hatchling, who protested loudly, but allowed itself to be carried. Before leaving, the elder paused. "The Emperor will remember this kindness. Your petition will be heard favorably." As the elder left, Charlotte slumped against Daniel, helmet clutched to her chest. "Did that just happen?" Daniel asked. "We just got humanity into the Galactic Council," Charlotte said slowly, "because a baby alien liked my helmet. And my badge," Daniel added. Charlotte started laughing, the sound slightly hysterical. "We should probably leave that part out of the official report." "Agreed," Daniel said, grinning. "Though I'm claiming a commendation anyway." 40 minutes later, Charlotte stood in the Imperial chamber, her helmet perfectly in place, and formally presented humanity's petition. The Emperor, vast and incomprehensible and terrifying, listened, with what might have been approval, and somewhere in the crystalline halls, a hatchling slept peacefully, dreaming perhaps of shiny helmets and dancing lights, completely unaware that it had changed the course of human history. Sometimes, Charlotte thought, diplomacy came down to the smallest gestures, and sometimes the fate of worlds hinged on being kind to a child, any child, from any species. It was a very human thing to do, and perhaps, she realized, that was exactly why they deserved their place among the stars.